dear.
Your call, please.
Operator, I've been dialing Murray Hill 40098 now for the last 3/4 of an hour, and the line is always busy. But I don't see how it could be busy that long. Will you try for me, please?
Murray Hill 4098. One moment, please.
I don't see how it could be busy all the time. It's my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I'm alone here in the house. My health is very poor, and I've been feeling so nervous all day.
Ringing Murray Hill 4098.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, George.
Yes, sir.
Who's this? What number I am calling, please?
We have heard from our client. He says the cost is clear for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Where are you now?
In a phone booth.
Okay, you know the address? At 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around to the bar on 2nd Avenue for a beer. Be sure that all the lights downstairs are out. There should be only one light visible from the street. At 11:15, a subway train crosses the bridge. It makes noise in case her window is open and she should scream.
Oh, hello. What number is this, please?
Okay, I understand.
Make it quick. As little blood as possible. Our client does not wish to make her suffer long.
A knife? Okay, sir.
Yes, a knife. Will be okay, and remember remove the rings and bracelets and the jewelry in bureau drawer. Our client wishes it looked like simple robbery.
Okay, I get.
Oh, how awful. How unspeakable.
Your call, please.
Operator, I've just been cut off.
I'm sorry, madam. What number were you calling?
Why? It was supposed to be Murray Hill 4098, but it wasn't. Some wires must have crossed. I was cut into a wrong number, and I've just heard the most dreadful thing. A murder. And an operator. You simply have to retrace the call at once.
I beg your pardon, madam. I don't quite.
Oh, I know it was a wrong number, and I had no business listening. But these two men, they were cold-blooded friends, some poor innocent woman, who was all alone, in a house near a bridge, and we've got to stop them. We've got to.
Yes, madam.
That doesn't matter. This was the wrong number, and you dialed, and we've got to find out what it was immediately.
But, madam,
Oh, why are you so stupid? Look, it was so obviously case and some little slip on the finger. I told you to try Murray Hill 4098. For me, you dialed it, but your finger must have slipped, and I was connected with some other number, and I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. Now, I simply fail to see why you couldn't make that same mistake again. On purpose? Why you couldn't try to dial Murray Hill 4098 in the same careless sort of the way?
Murray Hill 4098. I will try to get it for you, madam.
Thank you.
I am sorry, Murray Hill 4098 is busy.
Operator,
Yes, madam.
you didn't try to get the wrong number at all. I asked explicitly, and you all did was dial correctly.
I am sorry. What number were you calling?
Can't you, for once, forget what number I was calling and do something specific? Now, I want to trace that call. It's my civic duty. It's your civic duty to trace that call and to apprehend those dangerous killers. And if you want,
I will connect you with the chief operator.
please.
This is the chief operator.
Chief operator, I want you to trace a call, a telephone call, immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it be tracked down because it was about a murder. Yes, a terrible cold-blooded murder of poor innocent woman. Tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
It depends, madam.
Depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on. If it's a live call, we could trace it on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can't.
Disconnected.
If the parties stop talking to each other,
Oh, but, of course, they must have stopped talking to each other by now. That was at least 5 minutes ago. And they didn't sound like the type who would make a long call.
well, I can try tracing it. Now, what is your name, madam?
Mrs. Stevenson and Mr. Albert Stevenson.
If the parties stop talking to each other,
Plaza 42295. But if you go on wasting all this time.
what is your reason for wanting this call traced?
My reason? Well, for heaven's sakes, isn't it obvious? I overheard two men. They're killers. They're planning to murder this woman. It's a matter to the police.
Have you told the police?
No. How could I?
You are making this check into a private call purely as a private individual?
Yes. But meanwhile,
Well, Mrs. Stevenson, I seriously doubt whether we could make this check for you at this time just on your say so. As a private individual, we'd have to have something more official.
oh, for heaven's sake, you meant to tell me I can't report the murder without getting tied up to this red tape? Why, it's perfect idiotic. All right, then. I will call the police. Ridiculous.
Your call, please.
The police department, please.
Ringing the police department.
Police Department, Precinct 43. Dappy speaking.
Police department? Oh, this is Mrs. Stevenson. Mr. Albert Stevenson of 53 North Sutton Place. I'm calling to report the murder.
Eh?
I mean, the murder has been committed yet. I just overheard plans for it over the telephone. Over a wrong number that operator gave me. I've been trying to trace down the call myself. But everybody is so stupid. And I guess it's the end and you're the only people who could do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
It was a perfectly definite murder. I heard your plans distinctly. Two men were talking, and they're going to murder some woman at 11:15 tonight. She lived in a house near a bridge,
Yes, ma'am.
and there was a private patrolman on the street. He was going to go around for a beer on 2nd Avenue, and there was something man, a client who was paying to have this poor woman murdered. They were going to take her rings and bracelet, and use knife. Well, it's unweird me dreadfully, and I'm not well.
I see. When was all this, ma'am?
8 minutes ago. Oh, then you can do something? You do understand?
And what is your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Stevenson and Mr. Albert Stevenson.
And your address?
53 North Houghton Place. That's near a bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, you know. And we have a private patrolman on our street, on the 2nd Avenue.
Well, we'll look into it, Mrs. Stevenson, and see if we can check it with the telephone company.
But the telephone company said they couldn't check the call if the parties had stopped talking. I've taken care of that.
Oh, yes.
Personally, I feel you ought to do something far more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do? If they stop talking by the time you track it down, they already have committed the murder.
Well, we'll take care of it, lady. Don't worry.
I'd say the whole thing called for a search, a complete and thorough search for a whole city. I'm very near a bridge, and I'm not far from Second Avenue. And I know I'd feel a whole lot better if you sent a radio car to this neighborhood at once. Oh my.
And what makes you think the murder's going to be committed in your neighborhood, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know. This coincidence is so horrible. Second Avenue, the patrolman, the bridge.
Second Avenue is a long street, ma'am. And do you happen to know how many bridges there are in the city of New York alone? Not to mention Brooklyn, Staten Islands, Queens, and the Bronx. And how do you know there is something little house out on the Staten Island on some little Second Avenue you've never heard about? How do you know they were even talking about New York at all?
Heard a call on the New York dialing system.
How do you know it wasn't long distance call you overhead? Telephones are funny things. Look, lady, why don't you look at this way? Supposing you hadn't broke into on the telephone call, supposing you'd get your husband the way you always do, would this murder have made any difference to you then?
I suppose not, but it's so inhuman, so cold blooded.
A lot of murder are committed in this city every day, ma'am. If we could do something to stop them, we would. But a clue of this kind, this a vague, isn't much more use to us than to clue at all.
But surely,
Unless, of course, you have some reason for thinking this call is funny, and that someone may be planning to murder you.
me? Oh no, I hardly think so. I mean, why should anybody? I'm alone all day and night. I see nobody except Maid Elos. She's a big 200-pounder. She's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray. And the only other person is my husband, Albert. He's crazy about me. Others me. Waits on me. Waits on me hand and foot.
Well, then, there's nothing for you to worry about, is there? And now, if you just leave the rest to us.
But what will you do? It's too late. It's nearly 11 o'clock.
We'll take care of it, lady.
Will you broadcast it all over the city? And send out squads? And warn your radio cars to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhoods like mine?
Lady, I said we'd take care of it just now. I've got a couple of other matters here on this that require more immediate.
Oh, idiot! Now, why did I do that? Now, hell, think I am fool? Oh, why doesn't Albert come home? Why doesn't he?
Your call, please.
Operator, for heaven's sake, will you ring the Murray Hill 4098 again? I can take what's keeping him so long.
Ringing Murray Hill 4098. The line is busy. Shall I?
I can hear it. You don't have to tell me. I know it's busy. If I could only get this bed for a little while, if I could get a breath of fresh air or just lean in the window and see the street. Hello? Albert? Hello? 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 Oh, what's the matter with this phone? Hello? 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 Oh, for heaven's sakes, who is this? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Your call, please.
Hello? Operator? I don't know what's the matter with this telephone tonight, but it's positively driving me crazy. I never seen such infinite, miserable service. Now, look, I am invalid and I'm very nervous. And I'm not supposed to be annoyed. But if this keeps on much longer,
What seems to be the trouble, madam?
ringing and ringing and ringing, every 5 seconds or so. So when I pick it up, there's no one there.
Yes, madam.
Ringing and ringing and ringing, every 5 seconds or so. So when I pick it up, there's no one there.
I'm sorry, madam. If you will hang up, I will test it for you.
Not possible. And why? May I ask?
The system is automatic, madam. If someone is trying to dial your number, there is no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not, unless the person who is trying to reach you complains to his particular operator.
Well, of all stupid, complicated. And meanwhile, I've got to sit here in my bed, suffering every time the phone rings, imagining everything.
I will try to check it for you, madam.
Check it, check it. That's all anybody can do. Off all the stupid, idiotic. Oh, what's the use? Hello? Hello? Stop ringing. Do you hear me? Answer me. What do you want? Do you realize you're driving me crazy? Start staring.
Hello, is this Plaza 42295?
Yes, yes. This is Plaza 42295.
This is Western Onion. I have a telegram here of Mr. Albert Stevenson. Is there anyone there to receive the message?
I am Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows: Albert Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, New York, New York. Darling Telebrary, sorry, tried to get your for last hour, but line busy. Leaving for Boston 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business, back tomorrow afternoon. Keep happy and love, signed Albert.
Oh no!
That is all, madam. Do you wish us to deliver a copy of the message?
No, no, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night. No, no, it isn't true. He couldn't do it. Not when he knows. I'll be all alone. It's some trick, some fiendish.
Your call, please. What number are you calling, madam?
Operator, try that Murray Hill 4098 number for me. Just for one more, please.
Ringing Moray Hill 4098.
He's gone. Oh, Albert, how could you? How could you? But I can't be alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone one more second, I don't care what he say or what he expresses. I'm a sick human. I'm entitled.
This is information.
I want the telephone number of Hensey Hospital.
Hospital. Do you have the address, madam?
No, it's somewhere in the 70s. Thought it's a very small, private and exclusive hospital. Or I had my appendix out 2 years ago. Hensey. Hanc.
One moment, please.
Please, hurry. And please, what is the time?
I don't know, madam. You may find out the time by dialing Meridian 71212.
Oh, for heaven's sake, couldn't you?
The number of Hinchley Hospital is Butterfield 70105, madam.
Butterfield, 70105. Hensey Hospital, good evening. Nurse Registry.
Who was it you wish to speak to, please?
I want a nurse registry at once. I want a trained nurse. I want to hire her immediately. For the night.
I see. And what is the nature of the case, madam?
Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need soothing and companionship. My husband is away, and I'm...
Have you been recommended to us by any doctor in particular, madam?
No, but I really don't see why it's all sketching and necessary. I want a trained nurse. I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago, and after all, I do expect to pay this person.
We quite understand that, madam, but registered nurses are very scourges now, and our superintendent has asked us to send people out only on cases where the physician in charge feels it is absolutely necessary.
Well, it is absolutely necessary. I am a sick woman. I am very upset. Very. I am alone in this house and I am in violence tonight. I overheard a telephone conversation. That upset me dreadfully. About the murder, a poor woman who has going to be murdered at 11:15 tonight. In fact, if someone doesn't come at once, I'm afraid I'll go out of my mind.
I see. Well, I speak to Miss Phillips as soon as she comes in. And what is your name, madam?
Miss Phillips, and when do you expect her in?
Really don't know, madam. She went out to supper at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. But it's not 11 yet.
Just 14 minutes past 11.
What's that?
What was what, madam?
That that click just now in my own telephone? I thought someone has lifted the receiver of the book at the extension phone downstairs.
I didn't hear it, madam. Now, about this.
But I did. There's someone in this house. Someone downstairs in the kitchen. And they're listening to me now. I won't pick it up. I won't let them hear me. I will be quiet, I think. But if I don't call someone now, while they're still down, there I'll be no time.
Your call, please.
Operator, I am in desperate trouble.
I cannot hear you, madam. Please speak louder.
I don't care. There's someone listening. Can you hear me now?
Your call, please. What number are you calling, madam?
You've got to hear me. Oh, please, you've got to help me. There's someone in this house. Someone is going to murder me. And you've got to get in touch with the. Oh, there it is. He's put it down. He's put down the extension. He's coming. He's coming up the stairs. Give me the police department. The police.
Ringing the police department.
Police department, precinct 43, duty speaking. Police department, duty speaking.
Sorry, wrong number.